Thank you very much, Dracos. Welcome to the match of the week, G2 Esports. Going tried and true here with the funnel strategy and Shaka. They say, we saw Fnatic. We could beat them. We can beat G2 as well.
Well, they're going to try. It's going to be quite an exciting game. A lot of people have been hyped up to see how the new addition of Amazing can really change the performance of Schalke. I feel like that they had a bit of a mixed week last week. And Amazing as a player still trying to find his place in the team. We have heard from interviews and from him on the podcast that it is taking him a little bit of time, you know, to readjust to the stage, pro player lifestyle. He was on the broadcast for a while, so now he actually has to be good at the game rather than pretend to be good at the game. And it's a process, and he is slowly moving his way back in. But he's going up against G2, who've had a whole split to do that. This is the same roster from last split. This was the same roster that went to the finals. They did get 3-0'd by Fnatic, but they identified their issues. And Perkz even said last week that he felt kind of burnt out. But after last week's performance, it looks like that he's back on track to being one of the top mids in Europe.
That's true. I want to unpack a little bit what you said there, though, about Amazing. He has definitely had to kind of move his way back into the jungle in a very different style of meta from when he was playing 9 months ago. And that is probably one of the reasons why he's found it a little bit more difficult. He talked in that interview specifically about not necessarily being on carries or carrying so much. But what's funny is he's played 2 Camille games in Xinjiao now. And he doesn't have to worry about getting counter-jungled this game, so I feel like he's off to a good start.
Yeah, I think he quite enjoys the carry style if he can have it. Now, on the Xinjiao, you can be very active in the early game. Very popular pick over in the LPL. They do love this champion. And a lot of it's just because you have a lot of early damage and pretty effective CC. You have a slow built into your kit. You have the knock-up as well, the 3-hit strike, the 3-talent strike, I believe it is called. And it basically means that in the early game, when it comes to early skirmishes, especially against, well, no jungler, you can be pretty proactive and you can look to make a lot of plays.
Whoa, 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 whoa. There's a jungler. It's just in the mid lane.
Sure, but what I mean by that is that Hyanan and Wadid have no jungle support. The risk of someone coming bot lane, aside from maybe a Wonder TP, is very low, which means that Upset and Vanda can play like there is no one in their lane. They can play as aggressively as they want. They don't have to run the risk of a jungler showing up and making their life awkward and difficult. And Amazing has loads of opportunities to just walk down and there's no risk of getting counter-jungled. The other good thing about Xinjiao is just his ability to win these early skirmishes in 2 versus 2s. Against someone like a Zoe, it can be very effective. When you pair up these 2 champions, they are considered very, very strong. We saw it a lot last split, where you'd pair things like an Olaf and a Zoe up, and you pretty much could never lose a 2 versus 2 with that combo. So Xinjiao kind of provides that similar role, and we'll see how aggressive Amazing can be on the champion. And because we know that last week when he played the Camille, he was able to do it. He put a lot of resources into the mid lane ganks. Let's see if he can pull it off again.
Yeah, it'll be very important for Nukeduck and Amazing to try and shut down Perkz in this game, because it is really all about Perkz in that middle lane. So Nukeduck stealing away what he can. And speaking of Perkz, it's a good thing we're watching him on the POV stream over at twitch.tv/RiotGames2. Here we go. This is Perkz Division.
You can see the clicks, the fast movement, the paying
attention.
Some guys, he warded, pro player warded. Copy him. Do that at home.
I don't care how many times you say that, it's never going to happen.
You got to keep trying though, Bayer. You got to.
I agree. You know, I admire you not giving up.
Yeah, so you can go watch Perkz. You can go see how the funnel strat works live. It's not the most in terms. It will get action-packed later, in theory, if they can get that far. But for the time being, you'll just see a lot of farming. But the thing to pay attention to is how he manages his time between picking up the mid-wave farm and also when he spends his time in the jungle. Because if you are going to run this strat, it's just really important that you space it out evenly. But yes, Perkz is very interesting. Smite on Nukeduck. He is Zoe and he's playing Smite. We didn't see that coming into the game. I have just noticed it. And it allows Nukeduck to basically invade and steal away jungle camps. Number one, that means he won't fall as far behind against his lane opposition, because funnily enough, he's getting jungle camps too. It also denies gold from Perkz, which is great, because obviously he's trying to have everything funneled into him. Yeah. It kind of lowers your kill pressure, but you don't really need it anyway.
I mean, you're Zoe. Because we've seen what Zoe can do without an extra summoner anyway.
But you're not laning against anyone anyway, so the idea of kill pressure is kind of minimal regardless. So I actually really like this adaptation that we're seeing from Nukeduck, and I hope that it pays off more so as we get into the later stages of the game. It does mean that objectives are also obviously easier as well. So
it's a do-it-yourself funnel, really.
Yeah.
You steal away what you can. Now, ViciChachi might be in some trouble here. Has to flash. Wonder's going to follow him, and who's the better tank? It looks like it's going to be Wonder on this Ornn. Chachi is going to fall for first blood.
Wonder literally just solo killed Chachi
on Ornn.
In lane on Ornn. That is very surprising. Not what you would expect from the top laner of Schalke. Now we see a bit of early skirmishing, but G2 want to avoid that at all costs. There is farm on the horizon that they need to grab themselves, but the backtrack, like, Chachi just died in lane. So uncharacteristic. This guy, he has an MVP of the split title under his belt.
Yeah, I mean, it was a while ago, but he's very well known for being able to execute. Now, down to the bottom, let's see if the execution comes through as well. Wadid swallows up Yarnan. This is the safety of the Kench, but back to your point about Chachi, yeah, it's shocking.
That is extremely shocking. Like, Wonder's good, don't want to take anything away from Wonder, but that is very, very surprising. So Chachi goes in for a couple of early game trades, which he largely loses. Remember that you are sacrificing your own health, and you don't have many means to recover it in the early game unless you're able to land those cleavers, and that just gave Wonder the opportunity to fight him. And remember as well that Wonder, because he's a level down here, oh, hang on, we have a bit of an engage up top.
Looks like he's about to be more than just a level down right now. ViciChachi getting triple team. Perkz smells some kills, and he's going to find another one. On to Chachi.
And this is disaster now for Schalke because Perkz is getting even more resources invested into him. That is a kill very early on that is easily handed over to the big carry of G2. Chachi doesn't have the teleport, so it's going to be a long time before he gets back into lane. And a lot of resources are being denied and more funneled into Perkz.
It seems like the core assumption that Schalke had with this composition was they were going to just be fine on lanes and they could use Amazing and Nukeduck to try and hunt down Perkz. But that's proven to not be the case here. ViciChachi's Mundo is getting set incredibly far behind.
Certainly is. It's going to be a big operation for Chachi to get back into this game. Let's see how he pulls it off, because now pressure falls on the bot side of the map for Schalke if they want to find a way back into the game. Obviously, the deficit isn't so huge right now. Nukeduck and Perkz are both the same level. Amazing even ahead in levels on Yanko, so experience-wise, pretty good. Have a quick look over at the gold, and you can see that in terms of the overall gold between jungle mid and jungle mid for both sides, it is still relatively even. So Schalke not too far behind from the side, and that's a good situation to be outside of, obviously, the difference up in the top line.
Yeah. Now, the funnel, of course, is still pretty real for Perkz as he continues to pick up the lion's share of all that gold. You can see it in just the CS differential alone. Of course, not telling the full story because of the jungle camps. But look at what Upset and Vander are doing. It'd be nice if Yarnan and Wadid were anywhere near there, but they're taking jungle camps of their own.
But this is something that they've actually done a lot. Last week when they were playing the Heimerdinger lane, they would often move back towards the Krogs and they would just constantly pick them up, because one of the cool things about this duo of Braum and Kaisar is they're actually really strong skirmishers, especially once Braum hits level 6 because of the amount of CC you have, and they're looking for another play up top. I don't think they can get the kill here, given that Chachi is level 6.
That's a lot of damage, though. However, Chachi on the level 6, he's about to run out. He goes golden. Yankos can't tank any more shots, and it looked like Wonder didn't want to be on the same page with that one, so you are correct this time.
And they're not under too much pressure, but they will need to be proactive. You can't just sit around and hope that G2 mess up, because when you're just funneling gold, it's kind of hard to mess up.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could miss a smite or something, but yeah, it really doesn't matter too much. Speaking of messing up, though, ViciChachi, he seems to have recovered reasonably well from the earlier oopsies up towards the top side. Wonder's still a very scary threat here. The Sheen, the Catalyst, he's going to be a hard man to kill, and he's chasing ViciChachi away from all this farm. But the Mundo doesn't have to care as much when he has his ultimate, and Vander's even coming up for some support here. So Wonder carefully backs away. Upset also spotted out.
Interesting that Schalke have chosen to go for an early swap here. Looks like they want to try and get Chachi out of what has been a bit of a dire laning phase for him. And they want to try and get some pressure down onto this top tier 1. But with the Dragon gone as well, I imagine they do not want to concede the Rift Herald for free. It's a big objective that can really help with the sieges. And handing that over to the funnel comp is definitely not what you want to do. So Schalke have the majority of the members topside now, and this could be Amazing in trouble.
Yeah, looks like it. Amazing. He does knock him back. Crescent Guard's on as well, so he has to burn it, but critically he does get out unscathed, and G2 pull the trigger. Let's see if they can do even more as they head up towards the top side. Yankos and Perkz still pushing in the mid. let's take a look at how Perkz has actually done compared to his last Kai'Sa performance, because this was the near flawless execution of the final strat. Right now, he's still got a long ways to live up to.
Well, yeah, once we get to 20 minutes, let's see if he can break his CS record once again. But 7-0-5 did not die in week 1 of the European LCS Summer Split. And as we said, he is kind of on his way back to form. He kind of burnt out towards the end of last split, as he mentioned in an interview, and he doesn't want to do that again. So he took some nice time, he took some time off, and now he's back on the grind, ready to perform, and so far he's been doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, little R&R goes a long way for Perkz. Obviously, it's been a rough split for him, and you know, you're never going to get used to losing when you're the 4-time LCS champions, and taking this new squad, he had a lot of work to do. And maybe this is the split that G2 Esports get back on track would be a good turnaround for them. Despite the fact that they were finalists, of course. I don't want to say they were looking horrible. Just definitely not in the same form. Schalke tries to make an attempt up towards the top. Yarnin and Wadid playing as safe as they possibly can. And the funnel continues.
As we mentioned, G2 pretty happy. I imagine the point of view stream going extremely well. Remember, guys, if you have just tuned in, you can watch Perkz play Kai'Sa. And watch
Jankos run around and babysit.
Yeah, you can also watch that, I guess, too.
This is why I don't like calling it the funnel strat, by the way, because I think that you can use some more colorful language. I prefer to call it the butler strat. Everyone knows what a butler does, and that's exactly what Jankos is. He's literally
but the strategy is not about the butler here. The strategy is about the person who receives the resources.
That's Batman. like Jankos is Alfred, Perkz is Batman.
Hang on,
and
look at the trade.
He's pretty dead. Oh, good flash, though. Nice job getting out of harm's way.
Wonder outplaying Chachi once again. 2 levels on him.
Oh, no, Wadid. He's interrupted. No way to get out with the Abyssal Voyage, and it looks like amazing upset. And everybody just collapsing on the Tahm Kench.
So they finally find their first kill of the game. The question is, can they secure an objective off the back of it? Because Schalke still at a gold deficit. They haven't been able to punish this double support lane as of yet. It means that G2 are very happy with the situation they're in. Perkz now heading his way bot.
Oh, Killer Instinct goes right on in for Visit Chachi, and he makes it a Cathian Rain.
Very easy kill there for Perkz. He doesn't need his butler this time around. Batman swoops in and secures himself the gold that he needs to be a happy chappy. Already completed his first major item. We can see as how this played out before. Very simply, Vander did his knockback, and then he did the knocky up, and then he did the stunning, and then Schalke did the killing.
There was a lot of verbs in that one. And Schalke didn't stop doing the killing. That was not English. As they take down the Rift Herald.
Easy peasy. It will be an exchange of towers, but Schalke, I imagine, want to throw this Rift Herald mid so they can at least get themselves an objective back. A lot of sound effects going on right now.
Yeah, I'm a little confused at the moment.
Pew, pew, pew.
We don't add any more.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's getting into it, you know?
Yeah, well, you know, I'll give you that. But
so Nukeduck has now effectively become a jungler as well. Level 11, 151 CS, and he's completed his jungle item, the
Skirmisher
Runic
Saber
Echoes.
With the Runic Echoes,
yeah. Yeah. So Skirmisher Saber will increase your damage. Runic Echoes has received a decent number of buffs, actually, over the last couple of patches, and now it gives you a pretty quantifiable amount of AP, 80 ability power as a first item, and 10% cooldown reduction, and 300 mana. So obviously the trade-off is you lose a summoner spell because you have to run Smite, but if it's challenging Smite and you're Zoe and you just kind of want it to add to your burst and poke, then I actually can see that. I think it's a pretty smart adaptation. I like the slight difference that Nukeduck has brought out. Will it pay off in the long run, though? He is still leveled down onto Perkz, and a lot of resources still being funneled naturally, as the strategy does suggest, and now the Rage Blade is finished as well. So I always like to think of it as the level 16 mark is when the comp really comes scary, because you then have 3 points in your ultimate, and usually you're at about 2.5 items, maybe even 3 items, and that's when stuff gets really scary.
True, but I think it's pretty admirable that Nukeduck has been able to even keep it relatively close, considering he's not getting the same amount of resources focused on him. He does have to flash away from the Ornn ultimate. As he goes in, he goes out. Wonder hasn't been a slouch this game by any means at all, but yeah, the 20-minute mark, Ender was pointing it out earlier on the analyst desk as well. Still about 5 minutes away from us here. And I do want to see if Nukeduck can come up with any of those huge deletions. Like, this is a guy that really has never stopped kind of having that outplay potential. Throughout the long years he's played in the European LCS, one of the longest standing players here. You got to think all the way back to Season 3 now. Schalke looking for a fight. Wadid is going to swallow up Yarnin. and end it right here, right now.
So the Ref Herald is still in the pocket of Amazing. No towers have been secured for Schalke yet, even though G2 did secure the first one, and they have a pretty low health one ready for the taking up topside. They get themselves the Drake as well. G2 just feel like they have primary control over this game for the most part. Schalke not being quite as proactive as they were against Fnatic's Funnel Comp, but again, the funny thing is when Schalke played against Fnatic, and Fnatic ran this strategy, they were also against 2 supports in the bottom lane, but the key difference was every so often when Perkz went to farm mid, Amazing would come mid lane, and then Vander would roam up and try and gank mid lane as well. We haven't really seen that at all this game. Way more focus has been put on trying to shut down Hyanan and Wadid, who have just been tanking ganks. Yes, they were able to finally successfully kill Wadid at one point, but they haven't even turned it into a tower yet. And that means that, unlike last time where Caps was 0-3 and Schalke had a 8k goal lead because with Caps behind, it gave them full control over the map, G2 have just been able to wave clear on the side lanes. They've even been winning one side lane with Wonder, and Schalke have failed to deny Perkz any farm, aside from some of the jungle camps that Nukeduck has been stealing. So I feel like that right now G2 are just very happy campers because 3 more levels to go for Perkz before they could consider rushing Baron. They can look to try and force as many fights as they want, and things become very challenging for Schalke to really turn things around.
Yeah, Doomsday timer's ticking for sure, and it does seem like a very comfortable cruise for G2 Esports. These guys are not necessarily forced to make incredibly crazy plays because they just want to hit that mark where they can pretty much keep Perkz in the driver's seat all the time, and they've even given him a little insurance policy. The QSS comes in.
And when you have a Tahm Kench too, if you ever get hit by a Zoe bubble, it will not hit. You'll just be instantly cleansed, and Perkz will be absolutely fine. G2 now grouping as a 5-man to secure themselves the mid-tier 1. Only 1 out of the tower left for them to secure, and the top one is already pretty low. Schalke were able to finally successfully find their first tower of the game. And I want to see Schalke try and force a play here. Upset goes in.
Nice job by Jankos to kind of jump back in. Upset might have found himself a little bit too far forward, and he's going to get fired down. Hyanan actually takes away the last hit, giving him kill credit on this one. Perkz does land.
And Upset, he oversteps in the middle lane, and immediate punish from G2. Another kill goes over in their favor, this time onto Hyanan rather than Perkz, but still, a kill is a kill, and they get the flash out from Upset as well. Schalke yet to find any success with the early game comp that they have drafted for themselves. Now we just look back as we see Upset like, oh, there's a Braum there.
And an Ornn.
And an Ornn.
And the rest of the team.
That sucks.
Yeah, Schalke, you know, it goes back to what you're saying earlier on. We wanted to talk a little bit about, like, Amazing and how he's kind of changed the dynamic in this team, and he's still looking for a space for himself, but can he really be the leader? We haven't really seen it just yet in this particular game. Chachi taking up tower shots. Meanwhile, it's just a crazy fight. Nukeduck's going to start off by picking off Hyanan and Wonder, and Wadid, they're going to get left for dead here, but it's going to be a tower traded in the inner.
So Schalke finally find themselves a successful fight, and they get themselves 3 kills, which is great. But look at what they're losing on the other side of the map. G2 trade the lives of 3 for 2 towers, and Perkz is just continuing to farm. This is the kind of proactivity we needed to see from Schalke, but right now it's not resulting in anything significant that closes the goal gap enough for them to really challenge Perkz.
Yeah, let's take a look at the replay again. It was a good collapse on bottom for Schalke, not netting enough for them to get ahead.
So their whole goal here was just to try and punish Wonder, as he was by himself. He didn't really have the minion wave to defend under this tower, and it was going to be very quick and clean dive, but then Wadid brings his bot laner Hyanan to help save the top laner, and really just to buy more time. If they could have gotten a single kill there, it would have been even better for them. Unfortunately, they don't find one, but Perkz is still trading on the other side of the map, and yes, the kills are very valuable. The experience in gold is great for Schalke to pick themselves up, but they're the ones still behind. They don't have a lot of control over the map, and they need to be finding more of these proactive plays. Take advantage of the fact that Wonder has now used his flash, and the same for Wadid. As Perkz has found another one.
Yeah, Perkz goes in. Killer Instinct onto Vizicachi. Can't dodge him forever. Jankos ends up with the final shot on the Winter's Bite. Perkz still picks up that assist, and Baron Nashor's live on the Rift, Vedius. For one night only, as G2 Esports might be looking to secure that one up pretty soon. We are at the 20-minute mark. This is the scary territory.
So it's the level 16 point for me where Perkz will just start to run away with the game, but their eyes are set on the bot tier 2. They already have a wave pushing up towards them. They know that the top wave is stacking up, so the moment they take that tower, they can go back, and they can send Perkz up to catch the wave. And everything so far looking pretty good as, are Schalke going to do it? They're going to try and rush the Baron, knowing that so many members of G2 are on the other side of the map. I think they can rush this down.
Yeah, and Jankos, he's coming there, but he doesn't have a smite for the first time, really, and it looks like desperate moves for G2 to try to respond in time. This Baron's only at half its health. Maybe they can take the fight right now. Schalke seem to be getting cold feet. Vander trying to move around the side. Here comes the Ornhorns, and they're going to knock up two. Let's see the Baron doing all the work for him. Perkz picking up a killing spree on the Mundo. Baron's still up for grabs. Double kill. Down goes Amazing, and Schalke are going to get cleaned off the map. That's a triple kill for Perkz. Make that a quadra and pick up the Baron to boot.
G2 grab everything as they secure the Baron. Perkz picks up 4 kills, and Schalke leave with nothing.
We saw a brief flash on Schalke's coach, Andre Guholto, and that pretty much says it all. Just that falls flat.
The decision-making here from Schalke was sound. They recognized that G2 is too far away, there's no way they can collapse in time, but Schalke just couldn't take the Baron down fast enough, and all 5 members show up to stop the play from happening. The smite comes through from Perkz. Unfortunately, Zoe wasn't able to steal it away, and Kai'Sa just wasn't touched. This isn't the kind of fight that you want to be having in the Baron pits, and G2 get a much earlier Baron than they probably initially anticipated.
And the gold snowball's out of control at this point. They find themselves up 8,000 to 22 minutes, and well, the damage graph, at least on the G2 side, is going to be pretty consistent throughout the course of this game, I would say. Perkz being the by far and away leader in the game. Also has a Death's Dance picked up in addition to his other items right now.
Yep, very scary. There's the level 16. 3.5 items are done. On his way to working towards the 4th. Baron is ready, and G2 have the base of Schalke set on their eye. They have their eyes set on the sights.
They have the base set on their eyes. That's okay.
The word, yeah.
That's a little weird, but that's okay. G2 are going to win this one, it looks like. And Perkz may not have had the same exact amount of kills and assists as last time, and I don't know if he broke his CS record, but I think he's going to be pretty happy with the results all the same. Amazing trying to wait around the side for a flank, but if he waits too much longer, I don't think there's going to be much of a base left to defend. Down goes the inhibitor, and he's just watching.
Upset gets forced out. Wonder's already brought a wave bot. Perkz is just melting through the Schalke roster as G2, they're going to secure themselves a second inhib.
Yeah, really looking just infallible at this point. The funnel has completed. Perkz has become an absolute terror. Amazing's left reeling, just running away from his own base because all of G2 set their sights on him, and there's only going to be one more inhibitor tower if they even want to take it. Nuke Duck, he's going to get knocked up by the Ornhorns and taken down. Perkz goes godlike on the kill. Upset sends a calling straight into Jankos' face, but he's able to tank up through most of it. These towers are getting cut through pretty easily like a hot knife through butter. And then Bash and Crash, they just keep on taking the damage. Vizichachi's going to heal up most of it. G2 Esports perfectly happy to keep taking this fight as long as they keep Perkz protected, but he's got to be careful. He's going to get shut down. Upset senses the moment is nigh that they can maybe turn around G2 Esports, and all of a sudden G2 have lost their damage dealer.
Yeah, G2 have nothing left. They have to back away. Perkz overstepped. Finally his first death of the Summer Split. It was Schalke that was able to deliver it. They defend their base for a little while longer. The Baron buff wears out, and Schalke hold on. But let's look back at how this steam-rolling G2 take away the most of the base. Nuke Duck just wants to get a bit of poke down. The Ornalt follows him away. And there's just little that Schalke can do. They can't really hard commit to a fight. Their tanks aren't tanky enough. Perkz is level 16 to the level 12 of Vizichachi. That front line just disappears. But here, Perkz, I believe he takes tower aggro. He also gets knocked up and chain CC'd. And then the damage from Upset and Amazing is actually enough to secure the kill.
So the unfortunate miscommunication there was that they not only funneled the resources, they funneled damage onto him as well. So Perkz finally finds the grave. He still comes back pretty strong. Frozen Mallet completed for him now. And G2, they are only stopped, not stymied.
Just an extra bit of sticking power for Perkz, level 17. It's looking dire for Schalke. Chatted with Amazing on the podcast, and he said we should be able to win. He knew it was hard because G2 looked very good, and obviously Schalke still going through a couple of growing pains with the reintroduction of Amazing to not only the pro scene, but into a new team environment. And while he does seem overall pretty positive and trying to bring a good culture to the team, right now they are not quite able to match the prowess that is G2 Esports. And they are setting their sights on a 3-0 as we kick off week 2.
Yeah, indeed they are. G2 Esports with a massive Baron power play, still looking to try and end this one. And I want to look at the items again because Wonder's got himself an Ohm Wrecker.
Yeah, maybe they want to look for dives. Very rare purchase, but
when it happens,
when G2 are so far ahead, they feel confident enough to do it.
At this point, might as well. Perkz goes in, Perkz goes out, he gets swallowed up by Wadid, and there goes the knockups all across the board between the Ornn and the Braum, and they just come right back stronger than ever. Perkz has found his Chachi, and he is making him look like not a tank at all. So with Vander about to fall down, Nuke Duck desperately trying to get back to his base. That's the triple kill for Perkz. This looked clean as clockwork. Maybe a minor hiccup, a cog in the machine, a quadra kill. Perkz decides, you know what? I'm gonna get this one. You better let me have it. Down goes Vizichachi and the penta for Perkz.
He gets himself the penta. They get themselves the Nexus. G2 go 3-0.
Well earned. There's the ace. There's the base. GG, good night, and a big smile on Perkz' face.
I must admit, this is one of the easier comps to get a pentakill on, but still.
Don't take this away from him, man.
12, 1, and 2. Great performance from Perkz. G2 looking very clean, and like it all came off the back of that big single decision around the Baron area. Schalke recognized this could be an opportunity for us. Let's try and rush the objective down. We can steal this away when all of G2 are on the opposite side of the map, but with the Tahm Kench ultimate, with the teleports, they were able to respond in time and stop Schalke from doing it. And, like, they got 4 kills, they got a Baron, and at that point, Schalke were just too far behind to really contest. An 18,000 gold Kaisa, level 17 at just under 27 minutes into the game.
Funnel works, and Perkz is very happy with how it happened. Now, I'm glad he gave some props to Schalke for, you know, making the right call, just not necessarily being able to fire down that Baron early enough or fast enough, and giving it over to G2 Esports. It is hard to play against this comp. It feels very oppressive when it gets off to even a decent start.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we didn't really see a huge amount from Schalke. I thought the smite on the Zoe was quite interesting. Took away some of the jungle camps. Stayed kind of close to Perkz for a little while, but Chachi was someone that really struggled during the laning phase. He died a lot. Yes, he did get ganked, but that kind of happened a lot after he died 1v1 to Wonder, and you can't afford to be making those kind of mistakes at all, especially at the competitive level.
I mean, on a Mundo too, like pre-6, of course, but still. But on the flip side, props to Wonder. This guy was a beast.
I mean, I feel like Wonder's just been one of the most consistent top laners that we've had here in Europe. Naturally diversifying his champion pool as well, because when G2 at the finals just had only Wonder target bans, it's a little bit worrying. And while he has always been able to play these tanks, the rest of the team couldn't quite optimize when he wasn't on something like a carry. So we are seeing a lot of diversity from this G2 squad right now. Things meshing together. They currently sit at the top of Europe.
Yeah, they found themselves a funnel not once but twice. It worked out really well. Of course, we saw them play some different stuff. Now, in our match of the week, Perkz, Wonder, and Jankos all stepped up to secure the victory. If you think one of them deserves to be player of the game, be sure to hit us up at LCS Sports on Twitter and vote for your favorite. But for more on G2's win, let's get some thoughts from Dracos and the boys.